understand. Does he think that Hamas went into Israel with watermelons? Like, how did they kill Israelis?
And I wanted to see this claim that if one side is weak and the other side is strong, it automatically means that it's not a war. So I would say, for example, what is happening, for example, in Ukraine,
yeah.
and Russia. What
things occur that I wasn't intending to occur. I didn't go into the trip looking for those things, but nonetheless, they happened and have, helped me through my life and my troubles and struggles. And Caesar, your mic is off, bro, and it's really loud.
Oh, it's Caesar's mic.
Sorry about that. You're good. It happens.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, that was hectic. That was like trying to have a conversation at a dead show.
Sorry about that. I didn't mean to bring you guys into Christmas night.
So what about this idea that الحمساوي والجهاد الإسلامي يشكلون أكبر كتلة المقاومة، حتى ابن فتح فهو كمان بقاتل بناء على عقيدة دينية. هذا لا يعني إنه ما في مسيحيين وما في ملحدين، أكيد في، بس أنا اللي بقول لك إياه إنه هدول عقيدتهم القتالية هي عقيدة قتال في سبيل الله. مش فاهم أنا أنت ليش متضايق من الموضوع يعني؟ مش عاجبك الموضوع؟
لأنه على فكرة يا
كتيبة
صحو يا برنس بدي لك شغلة عشان هيك قلت لك برنس كرمال هيك قلت لك من قبل شوي. أنا عندي على فكرة كثير أصحاب ساكنين بجنين، فلسطينيين ساكنين بجنين، وهنيك عم تعرف المقاومة كيف بجنين. وحياة الله I have a friend of mine هو ساكن بجنين، وعلى فكرة حكيك اللي أنت عم تحكيه ما بيحكي هيك، مع إنه مسلم ما بيحكي هيك. أنا ولا مرة سامع ولا مرة سامع شاب أو بنت بفلسطين تحكي بهالطريقة.
لا ما بيحكوا هيك، ما بيحكوا هيك بجنين، ما بيحكوا صح، ما بيحكوا
بس الفلسطينيين.
With Obatala and I'm surprised that Obatala and Kalen actually clashed, but the thing is about Kalen is that he wants, I guess he wants
onions, and then you put it in a pan and you bake it with all the seasonings. You use Bell's seasoning, and it's unbelievably good. You just get mouthfuls of buttery onion bread, and it's unbelievably delicious.
What is Bell's seasoning?
Come on, you guys.
I'm telling you, you're gonna say Miss.
Happy post Thanksgiving, everybody! Joy now.
Mazel tov.
L'chaim, that's a great PTR, beauty. I love your Thanksgiving plate. Was it warm or was it cold? Oh, this app is so stupid. It's for stupid people, really. I just gotta admit, it really is for low IQ people. But this is why it's fun. If everybody was smart, they wouldn't be here.
И будем откармливать людей пловом там и всем делами. Я согласен, я за вообще.
А мы как это онлайн?
Freebird, Leonard Skinner.
That gave me that allowed me to obtain these perspectives that don't allow the external world to fuck with me so hard, and even though I have these moments, of course, like every human being does, where the external world is very heavy, but remembering those trips that allowed me this perspective to be able to be myself and know that everything will be okay, regardless of the external pressures, because those are mostly my interpretations of them. And quite reasonably, our interpretations aren't talked about, oh no, that may be a wrong interpretation. Maybe readjust that. So those are things that always happen with me and my friends because of our consumption of drugs when we were young. Because we're like always trying to check each other and be there for each other. So
how to get the perfect smile.
Very, very much so in those very intimate, no holds barred conversations. And I think that's something that's not widely consumed amongst people with other people without these modalities of psychedelics. We're all too afraid. We're all too sheltered. We're all too ashamed. We're all too vulnerable.
When we were developing the biographical materials for this book, which were all taken out of this book pretty much, the one that's coming out in February, but we started out writing a lot of Jim's biography, and one of the things he reflected on to me was that
11,000 people and took hostage about 900, okay, and took them back to France. Now,
at dawn, seeing a flower die and come to life and die and come to life and go through these cycles, and experiencing that in real time, and that to help kind of talk them down, and that generally you're not seeing a lot of tripping at kind of that level of interest and exploration anymore. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but I tend to agree. And maybe it's just because I'm a lot older. I'm 64 now. I'm not 21 at a neo-pagan conference and meeting Tim Leary and Bill Eichmann on the same night on too many substances and almost dying from exposure. I'm in a different space than when I was 40 years ago. So maybe I don't have the kind of capacity or interest to really, kind of go out there as far. And I mean, of course, there are people who do. And
I mean, definitely a young man's game, dude. Don't get me wrong, Jordan. I'm closing in on that 5-0, So, but I mean, literally, I'm okay with life as long as I have a vial of acid with me. I don't have. I've had the same vial of acid for 4 years now, and I've taken microdoses off of it because I was at a show.
Please don't scroll. I'm just trying to become a big
actually imbibe in it most of the time.
Please don't scroll.
My damn hand and be okay because of that vibration, that crystal.
Please don't.
And it's.
Please don't scroll. I'm just trying to become a big
between the molecular structure of what you're holding in your hand that can activate your endogenous systems and create neuronal resonance and actually make that happen. I mean, Terence used to say that, in a dream, if you dream that you take anything, you can have the full-blown experience of taking that if you had it even once.
Right, I tell people, all I really need to be around is people tripping, or I can just sit here sometimes with you guys having intense conversations about my experiences in psychedelic usage can bring on a trip. What they would probably consider back in the day perma-fried. I mean, is that a good thing or a bad thing? Don't know, don't really give a fuck. But, it's just kind of the way my reality is, I mean, and, and it's kind of like those times you're in a tunnel at a Dead show or in a tunnel on fucking just any place, my reality. And I see it as that. And I use the tricks that I learned when I was on acid, high doses of acid, to get myself out of those states, to ground again in such a fucking, trip. The amount of energy it takes to ground on that much LSD is phenomenal. And yeah, I do believe there is an intrinsic connection between me and this crystal, since it's imbibed my system since I was a very young man. And I definitely feel a connection to it. I definitely can just talk to other people about my experiences and experience it again. I can definitely, you can give me a fucking fake vial and a
Like, because when something gets frozen enough, you lose feeling.
And we understand. We're just trying to tell you, this is how we know Canadians can't live in America.
That's fine. But Canada is in America, so I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, it is. North America, bud.
It's more cold up there. Makes sense. I still say with all of the Canadians and their dumb opinions, we should send all of our immigrants there.
Honestly, I would trade some of the Indians for a few, like, Venezuelans at this point.
We want you to keep your dumb Indians, your poop-eating Punjabs.
Why don't we send them to Mexico and have them fight the cartels for us?
Ooh, the Indians are going to fight them.
Fight the cartels and you can become an American.
I like this idea. Like, so you get to the border, they're like, I claim asylum. You're like, great, okay, here's your enlistment papers.
It's what they did to the Irish.
Correct. Oh, hey, does anyone feel like Iris energy? A buddy called me who has been like one of these Silicon Valley around Bitcoin crypto very early, but never bought into the whole maximalist thesis that's taking over. And he called me today interested about different Bitcoin things and mining things, and he has some Iris call options. I don't know what you guys think about that one. I'm glad you got in touch with Wences, bro.
Wait. Before we get off this topic, Dave, can you PTR your epic girl finger?
No, it healed back fine. Like, when you burn the tip of your finger, like, it grows.
Okay, this is all joy. Princessia is here. Abby was saying, wouldn't it be funny if Princessia and Edmund end up falling in love? So I've been listening to rooms all morning. I'm 100% convinced that people just come here to get high.
Edmund, what's going on?
Hey, what's up, Nick?
The trolling's been on point lately.
It's been on fire. I've come up with debate tactics which can't be defeated. For example, some people use vulgarity. I just like to say, hello?
Well, Edmund, I like when you do like the Tiffany Sotheby one. That's hilarious.
A trans social audio chatbot app performed by Edmund Dakin is very funny. I agree. What's up, Princessia? Oh, she left.
I was like, I noticed in like rooms I've been with you, I'm like, man, his trolling's been on point the last month.
Well, I've had many accounts clipped. I've had my YouTube accounts deleted, and it doesn't really matter because I wasn't making any money, so you can't lose what you don't have. But the fact that, I have essentially, I think I have used this app in a butterfly effect to help get Donald Trump elected. And I mean, obviously I know it really didn't actually do anything, but on this app, I was able to like destroy people's narratives. But I have been secretly filming Elon Musk for, I don't know, maybe 6 months now. But you can go to my website where I post all my Elon Musk private conversations. It's called adriandittman.com. And AdrianDittman.com would not be possible if it wasn't for Roger Mayhem. Because if you go to RogerMayhem.com, it goes to my deleted YouTube account. But because I was basically capturing a non-playable character, aka, you know, a Comic-Con fake person named Roger Mayhem, same thing with Adrian Dittman. Adrian Dittman is Elon Musk. And so I was on X Spaces one day and I heard this guy talking and I'm like, that's fucking Elon Musk. So I tweeted, you know, this Adrian Dittman is Elon Musk's burner account, and he blocked me immediately. So I was like, that's very weird for somebody to block you, for somebody who doesn't like being said that he sounds like Elon. So it was a big giveaway. And then I was like, okay, this is definitely Elon. So I've been recording him and he goes live every night at 8 p.m. And, you know, it's my new business now. My dad's like, get a job. I'm like, no, I'm just going to film Elon Musk every day.
Here was the funny one, Edmund, is when you were going at it with Prince yesterday or AJ or whatever, I was laughing my ass off.
Funny about the Temu jacket, isn't it?
Yeah. That was great.
It's true. That was a shitty looking like jacket. Like, you know, that I mean, I have shitty Temu type products, you know, clothing products, and honestly, they cut so many corners when they make these jackets. It's unbelievable. I have this one jacket that I bought off of like an Instagram ad. It has no pockets.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah, but making fun of Prince, I mean, it's fun. I can't believe that I was even able to like just scream for like 20 minutes, you know, and just keep screaming.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. Or the Monica impressions, those are hilarious.
Yeah, I like Monica, to tell you the truth. I
I like Monica.
Yeah.
I actually don't have any. I don't hold beef with her. She's not. I don't know. She just doesn't bother me. She didn't get under my skin.
She's got a unique, pleasant voice. You know, if there's anything about, I would call it like voice theory or voice sciences or tone, like, I guess you would call it American English or native speaking in terms of speech therapists or speech consultants. Some people are just really annoying. There's a big difference between American English and Australian / UK or British English. It's, I think American English is much more pleasant because
You know, I do like the Australian accents. Those are cool.
I like them too. I have a hard time doing them. Maybe it's because I've never really like listened to them because they never say anything intelligent. So it's been hard for me to really absorb the Australian accent because everything they say is generally just questions. You could listen to Rohan. He loves to do the Socratic dialectic where he thinks that by asking questions, he can, you know, evoke his point. You know, God bless Australians. God bless Canadians. They're probably the best people out there. But the thing is, they're hypocrites because they actually enforce immigration in their countries. So I don't know if you've ever been to Australia, but they don't fuck around with immigration. Neither does, I mean, you could say the UK too, but.
I mean, I live in Metro Detroit in Michigan here, and like we're right by the Canadian border. And Edmund, I can tell you since COVID happened, when that dipshit finally opened up the border, like that place overflowing with Ukrainians, the Muslim terrorists, the Somalis, all of them. Like it's a cesspool because his idea was like let everyone in and bring all these refugees, but now it's like backfiring big time because they're not working and they're not getting jobs and just causing problems.
I was at the bar / restaurant by my house the other day, and these men sitting next to me at the bar, they were speaking Spanish. And then they switched into Ukrainian. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, how these motherfuckers are speaking 3 languages? Like how many languages? Anyways. Yeah. I mean, you know, there's so many illegal aliens in this country. Like I know they want to get rid of the criminal offenders, but like if they're actually going to really enforce the law, there are so many people that would be subjected to arrest, detainment, and deportation that they're already fully functioning in society, and they speak English and Spanish, but they choose to speak in Spanish because that's their native tongue. But like, I don't get the feeling that those people need to be removed, because in many ways they're contributing. They're paying rent, they're paying taxes, and maybe they do have citizenship. And that's the thing I was wondering, like, is it like, the moment somebody gets arrested and is a citizen but doesn't speak good English or something, like, wait till you just see all the publicity and press coming out from the expected deportation effort. People are gonna gaslight the shit out of it. I mean, we should create like fake videos of like Homeland Security making like racist arrests and saying racist things. Just put that on the internet, and like, I think the opportunity, if you were a smart comedian, to like create fake content, because a lot of these TikToks and Instagrams and YouTubes, it's all just fake, you know, it's actors, and it takes you a second or two to realize it's not a real clip. Those types of deceptive communications would be a lot of fun to work on, you know, internally. But imagine going externally and creating fake videos. Wow.
Well, here's the thing, Edmund, is a friend of mine owns a construction company, home remodeling, whatever, in South Carolina, and he hires illegals, but I don't know how to explain it. Like, one of the guys, like his painter, he has a taxpayer ID number. Okay, so what you can do is file with the IRS to get a taxpayer ID number, right? So that you have your business. He has a legit business. He files with the state, pays taxes, but he doesn't have a social security number because he's illegal. But he has a taxpayer ID number.
Right.
And he talked to his attorney about that. He's like, how the fuck is this possible? How can he do that? He said, welcome to America. Because see, the government's against illegal immigration, whatever. But they care more that you pay taxes than they do about your citizenship status.
I know. It's like they'll charge drug dealers for not reporting their illegal gains. The drug transaction. So it's just
it's not the drugs that they give a shit about. It's because they do it for cash. But like, I know how it is. I don't know how it is in Chicago, but most of these contractors, like here in Metro Detroit, like let's say you call an electrician, right? He does some work. And he's like, I normally charge like $250, whatever. But if you make the check personal to me, I'll only charge you $200. Because that's what they're doing.
Yeah, they don't want to pay taxes. I know.
Like the big jobs, like if they do a $10,000 or $15,000 job, of course they can't.
It's any business now. If you pay in cash, every restaurant now is charging you a 4% charge for using your credit card or debit card.
Edmund, I was in Aruba earlier this year. They charge a 7% charge on credit card.
Yeah.
So like, it's the same thing here in Michigan now. Most places are charging like a 2 to 3% charge. I just bought some silver today because I buy a little bit of silver every Black Friday. Just my thing, whatever, 10, 20 ounces. And when I went on like JM Bullion, it gives you a much cheaper price if you just pay ACH or via check. Yeah. To your point, they charge like a 2 or 3% markup if you use credit card now.
Yeah. Did you like Aruba? I liked Aruba.
You know, here's the thing. I did, but I liked Barbados more.
I've never been there. My sister's been there. She liked it.
Here's the thing, Edmund. It's much cheaper to go to Barbados. Like, the whole town of Aruba was like $250 a night, and they fucking lied, and they said it was on the beach. It wasn't. I'd across the street. I was like, the fuck? I'm like, whatever. But in Barbados, it was like $170 a night, and you literally backed the water. It was a Radisson, so it's pretty decent.
How did you book? How'd you book? Expedia, or what did you use?
I use Trivago.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kayak or Trivago usually get the best prices. It's just the thing that sucks is you can't fly Delta there. It's only American Airlines, at least for Metro Detroit. or Detroit Metro Airport.
Do you ever go across to the casinos in Canada from Detroit?
Yeah, we used to, like when we were like 1920.
Oh, you don't go anymore though?
Every here and there I might go. Like sometimes they have concerts there, so like here's the thing, Edmund, like Detroit, like the downtown, it's safe, but there's sometimes sketchy stuff, but like Canada is so much safer.
Yeah. Yeah. What was I gonna ask you? What was I gonna say? Well, there's a casino by me. It's called Rush Street Interactive. Its ticker symbol is RSI. Look it up. It's like a $2 billion, $3 billion casino chain. And I saw Tim Dillon perform there, and I recorded.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I recorded the performance. It was very funny. It was on November 8th. I can't remember It's November 5th. It was like right the day before the election, I think.
Okay.
But anyways, I'm just saying that this casino, is top notch and it's publicly traded. It's called Rivers, and
oh yeah, I've heard of Rivers. Yup. They're one of like the bigger chains out there. But like the thing is, Edmund, like a dumbass, when my friend and I went to Chicago, we stayed by Midway Airport because we go, it's cheap.
Yeah.
I am never doing that again.
Yeah.
Fuck no.
If you come to Chicago, what you do is you just book through Hotel Tonight and you stay in River North or Gold Coast. Gold Coast is the best because there's a strip of bars there where like all the hot, young, well-to-do people go to, and it's fantastic. I mean, I've staycationed here, and like, it's nice to like staycation in a city that you live in, and then because like the pockets of towns, like there's pockets within Chicago where you could say that it's like a social network, like in neighborhoods, and you will not get exposure to that social network unless you actually become a regular. And yeah.
Did they re-elect Beetlejuice there?
No, we have her retarded son, Brandon.
Are you serious? So I saw what happened. If you saw what happened in Michigan, Trump won Michigan, but they elected Alyssa Slotkin for Senate. And I was like, that makes no fucking sense. Slotkin's horrible.
Was she the Democrat?
Yeah. She's just an evil bitch. She is a fucking evil bitch. And our governor's an evil bitch too, Whitmer or Shitmer. She's going to try to get into D.C. You just watch. I would say within the next couple election cycles, because that bitch is done in 2 years here in Michigan, they're going to try to put her in D.C. Biden put in Granholm, who was like one of our worst governors ever, to run the energy department, or I don't even know what.
I hope Trump takes extraordinary efforts, or extraordinarily like dynamic efforts in terms of law enforcement, and he actually makes arrests of U.S. citizens that are not complying with U.S. laws. So he'll use the FBI, the Department of Justice, or the Army itself to make actual arrests of, like, for example, Pritzker here in Illinois. I think that if we could Google it, are there times where the president has arrested governors and things of that nature? Because some of these people they're 100% responsible for directing all activities that are illegal, unconstitutional, financial malfeasance. There's so many ways to go after people, but I think that like Trump needs to make dramatic arrests and really make it into an extremely emotional and precarious environment in the United States, because
I like that. I also think, Edmund, he's going to run this term differently than he did the first term. Like, I think he learned his lesson about some of the fuck-ups he did in the first one. I think he's going to do things a lot differently.
Part of me thinks that he's not, just because I get the feeling that it's like the whole thing is just the theatrical performance, and that like to make what I want, is like actual arrests and imprisonment for many, many people. I just get the feeling like that it will be such a slow, drawn out process because of the due process. But anyways, it'll be very exciting to see what he can get away with, what slows him down, because all these checks and balances really do slow down the process. The thing about arrest and trial is the process is the punishment. The money it bankrupts you. Yeah.
Edmund, just look at the OJ trial, how long they dragged that shit on for. And I wonder what he's going to do with what's going to happen with the Menendez brothers. Because, I mean, I knew that they had a fucked up, like, childhood and household. I just didn't know it was that fucked up.
Did you see his girlfriend? His girlfriend is hotter than a chick that I can get, and he's like a 50-year-old bald white guy now.
Yeah.
Did you see his girlfriend?
Yeah. Oh, I know. But I remember when that shit happened in the 90s, I was like, all these kids are horrible. Why would they do that? And then I did more research, and I was like, actually, their parents were the fucked up ones. Like, the kids really weren't. Yeah, the kids had some issues. I get it. But it was the parents that fucked them up.
Well, it doesn't matter. One of the commandments, honor thy mother and thy father so their days may be long in the land. The children can rectify adults if they have that knowledge. But if you're an atheist, insane parent, and you're an abusive, neurotic person, this is why wisdom can help rectify situations. But when you take a cleaver and decide to behead your parents, do you know what the law should have done to these pieces of shit a long time ago? We shouldn't be talking about them. They should be fucking buried right now. And that's it. That's the facts.
Well, Edmund, I do think it's funny you're trolling on the Muslims on the app, too. That is hilarious when you troll the Palestinians and Muslims on here.
I try my best. There's many other good trolls.
I was like, man, I haven't talked to Edmund in forever. I got to tell him his trolling's 10 out of 10 recently. Because it was always pretty good, but then it got better and better. And I was like, he's really worked on this. I'm proud of him.
Yeah, if I can make Prince emotionally upset, like that's the win. The win isn't. You see, this is next level PSYOP, where the win is not being factually or historically more accurate. It's how emotionally upset and gaslit and triggered can I make you because you don't have the control you want. It's an awesome game. This is why, like, I went to the casino yesterday and I was walking around and I saw all these people playing. It's amazing. Everyone is just a drug addict. They sit at the table to get their drug fill. It's boring as fuck. So what they want to do is people watch. They pick their head up to see who's walking by to get that next dopamine. Same thing on this app. People just come on this app every single day. I smoke weed and I drink beer or I drink wine. So I'm getting I'm getting the full fill of the dopamine. Most people on this app are actually sober. And so they're using this app in the same way that I might use cannabis and, alcohol. Right. So, but it's the same thing in the casino. The point is people in the casino don't know they could play the casino games for free and still get the same dopamine feedback, but not give up 40% of every dollar they bet. So they're the biggest suckers because they don't even understand math, just basic arithmetic, not even probabilities. So what you're dealing with is technically like a mass communication marketing endeavor to continue to convince people to come in with giveaways and discounts. And then they fall back into the hypnosis and they just plunge their money into the black hole known as the casino or the temple of hypnosis. But this app is the same thing. This app is just a hypnosis app.
Well, it's funny because like in the casinos in Canada, in Windsor, they have like some days, like once a month or something, they do like they pick like one person to win a prize, and it's kind of like they pick 3 suitcases, right? Once they pick 3, they win the prize, and the prize is either $10,000, $25,000, or $100,000. And I don't know if you know this about Canada, but lottery winnings or like gambling winnings or things like that, they're tax free. So I'm like, that's kind of cool that they do stuff like that. But I mean, whenever you look at a casino and you see that nice real estate, nice, marble floors, all the place all pimped out and nice, you're like, the winners didn't pay for that.
Well, really, technically they're just banks. Everything, all these major corporations, once they fully build it out, they technically just become a financial holding corporation, and the operations.
That's all it is. Right.
Look at the people who say, have you ever heard somebody say, I work in corporate, or I worked in corporate? Like they're one level above the retail operation. But it's like, truth be told, it's that manager and those floor card people that are making the business work. Your corporate level C-suite job or whatever the fuck it is that you do, you're not actually, anyways, you see the difference? Yeah.
Edmund, I'm a fucking accountant. All I am is I'm a paper pusher. That's all I am.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing more, nothing
but
less.
Nonetheless, you're still in the communications industry. My friend is a high-level CPA, and I've listened to his work calls. He is the broadcast to all the other people. He's the one sharing the message. It's unbelievable.
Correct. Yeah, that's all you are at the end of the day. No, I remember, Edmund, you did that room once where you're doing Clubhouse impressions. Those were hilarious when you did the LeBron one and you did the Jacques one.
Well, I did an impersonation room with Andrew Meyer once where we were making fun of that. What's that bald-headed, dumb fucking mother? No, fuck is his name? He's like a C-level, social media influencer. He says he built out all these businesses. He was super pro.
Jonathan Bing.
No, not that loser. That is a super loser. This guy's name is I'll think of it. But Andrew Meyer and I were impersonating him, and it is just because he's dumb as a bag of rocks. This guy.
Is that the guy, that CEO guy?
Not Mr. CEO, not that one. He's dumb as a bag of rocks too. But this is another guy. I'll think of his name. It really doesn't matter. There's a million type of people like
Nelson
him.
Or whoever.
Not that loser. But so.
Can you do your Jonathan Bing impression?
I guarantee you that guy's got body odor. I fucking guarantee it.
Oh, shit.
He's really, really stupid. I mean, I can't believe that Chatter, I've never actually downloaded it, but it is like technically run by really stupid people. But, even their X account, like it looks like the Salesforce logo. I mean, Their branding is terrible. And then they live stream copyrighted material on their platform. So what is the viability of live streaming UFC fights and talking? It's not a viable. That's the problem. Like Clubhouse is unique and special in the sense that it's a very solid it's this very solid program. Like the Paul and fucking what's his name? Anyways, yeah.
I know we're talking about the creators. Yeah, I get it.
It's a very unique telephony app. But again, no advertisements, so they're selling the back end data to real-time bidders. And but that's the thing is like the data that this thing generates cannot be useful for commercial advertising online targeting. So it's like there's so much data being bought.
Too.
Yeah.
Like the people, I've called out Miki for being a scam artist here that just wants to sell her services, and she claims she's not. And the old saying is, if someone tries to sell you insurance or financial products and they claim they know something about money, if they say they vote Democrat, don't walk away from them, run away from them because they clearly don't know about money.
Yeah, a lot of them are, retired teachers.
Yeah, that's all they do. Yeah, because they can go work in financial sales. I'm not saying you can't make money. You can, but it's financial sales.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, my uncle sold insurance, and he would get calls from people trying to sell him mineral rights, oil wells.
Yeah.
And he would say, well, listen, that's a great offer, and I'm going to think about it. But have you thought about purchasing a variable indexed annuity to generate security for yourself? And my uncle's big word was security. How much security do you have in your life right now? How much do you really know that your future is secure? You have a wife, you have children. What is your what is your security plan? And he would just go on and on about insurance and variable annuities and, you know, fixed annuities and how you have to have annuities in your portfolio. It's just, so
Those people are hilarious.
have you ever tried to collect on an annuity?
Yeah, good luck. Well, here's what's funny, Edmund, is the people that will tell you I have a Series 6 or a Series 7 license and I can sell security. You only need a high school diploma to get one of those.
Yeah.
It's not a fucking hard exam. That just means you can sell shit. That doesn't mean you know what you're selling. And
Yeah, I don't know how difficult it is to pass the Series 7 and 63.
it's not.
Yeah.
It's really not that hard of an exam.
I mean, I took a class to study for it, and I got fired from the job before I could even take the Series 7.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's really not that hard of an exam.
I think it's just the options, and then also like the dates. You have to know the dates, which is really stupid in the digital age that they still make you have to know the dates for, yeah.
Well, it's just like the same thing like when I was studying for the CPA exam, understanding like the deduction amounts, because it changes every year. That doesn't make any sense because it's always indexed whatever for inflation. So saying that you get the standard deduction of like $5,000 this year could be $6,000 next. It's irrelevant. To your point, especially in the digital age, you just go Google it. I mean,
well, the IRS is like, it's its own private society of employees, and then when you look at the historical, like, what are all these people doing? Like, when you look at the IRS, rules manual, and you look at how fine the print is, and it's already 1,400 pages. You're like, this is shocking that humans have spent this much time using words to try to describe taxation. Like, it's abhorrent. It's abhorrent. It's a
waste of resources. It's a complete waste of resources. Like, I talked to one of like the tax directors at my company. He's like looking to retire like early next year.
Yeah.
And he was just telling me, he's like, the way they complicate this tax code is, to your point, a complete waste of resources. And it's actually worse, Edmund, at the state and local levels, because at the federal level, they don't have to balance anything, because when you have a Federal Reserve and you can just print money out of thin air, it doesn't matter, right? But at the state and local levels, like, you have to balance. So, like, that cesspool known as California.
What do you mean they have to balance? They borrow from banks just as much as the federal government does.
Right. Well, they can't run like as high of deficits as the federal government. I guess that's what I'm trying to come to.
But it's a question of the unfunded liabilities. And this is the fucked up thing about accounting, is that because of accounting rules and regulations, they're able to stuff, hide, and essentially non-disclose the true financial projection or the true present financial real picture. It's accounting tricks, and all these rules and shit, they have major implications in terms of earnings releases and compliance.
There are so many ways you can hide this shit. Like, they're like, oh, look at our government. It's, $1 trillion in debt. Who cares? No, but you have to understand, like, yeah, they're 35 trillion in debt or 36 trillion, whatever, but it's the unfunded liabilities. That's like 100, they don't even know, but estimates show it's 150 to 200 trillion dollars. And when you have a fucking Federal Reserve and money that's not backed by anything and just printed out of thin air, it's like, that's the most dangerous institution that should cease to exist. But nobody tends to understand that, and you get idiots like Thugga Biden that said that it's a perfectly good organization and necessary. That guy's an idiot too, Edmund.
Yeah, I've destroyed him too. And you could probably go on YouTube and just type in Thugga Biden, and you'll see my videos. I guarantee it. Let me see.
So here's what's funny, Edmund. He told me right before the election, he's like, Kamala Harris is going to win. It's going to be by the biggest, margin ever. And I told him, I said, Thugga, look at the swing states. I'm telling you, these play a big role. And he's like, no, Kamala's going to win every single one of them. And guess what? Trump won every fucking one of them. Honestly, Edmund, I didn't think he was going to win every one of the swing states. I thought he was going to get maybe 5 to 7 of them, but he got every fucking one of them.
You know, my friend, his name is Max. He said that Trump cut a deal prior to the election. And so it does seem in many ways like he was chosen, and that those swing states, because that's the thing. I was so convinced that through Dominion voting systems, they were going to install Kamala for the drunk whore that she is, because she would be better for business than Trump. And plus, everybody fears retribution from Trump. So I just thought for sure that 100%, I thought for sure we would be in this protracted legal battle. And everybody would be claiming voter fraud, and like J6 would happen all over. I thought it was going to be a total repeat, but no. But my friend said he was going to win, that Trump was going to win, that it was all predetermined. And I'm like, I didn't ask him for the specifics, but the point is, like, I am fucking flummoxed and shocked that Trump actually, won free and clear, despite the fact that there's tremendous voter fraud still out there.
Oh yeah. Well, the thing is that you look at this, all the states that dumb cunt Kamala won, they don't require voter ID.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So I'm like, I knew that she was going to win the People's Republic of California, the People's Republic of Massachusetts, Oregon, Washington, all those communist-run states she was going to win. I was just shocked. Like I said, here in Michigan, I thought it was 50-50, right? I was like, I don't know, man. I think she can win it, but I'm going to tell you something, Edmund. In my subdivision, I'm in Oakland County. It's well off, but they still vote Marxist, which I don't understand. But Metro Detroit's kind of like liberal because they're a union town. So here's what's happened. Here's what got interesting. The Muslim terrorists tend to always vote Democrat. But in this case, when Kamala was married to a Jew and said that she supported Israel, they didn't vote Kamala, but they didn't vote Trump either. They just went independent. And I think that that's what hurt that dumb cunt, but who cares?
Yeah, I just, Trump has to be protected at all costs. And I honestly, what's amazing? I can just remember when he announced his, his run for the second time. It looked so bad. He was by himself. He wasn't like happy. You just think about all his family members that said, "Dad, please don't run again. Please don't run." And he's like, I gotta run. They're like, "Dad, don't do this. Come on, Dad. Like, please don't do this again." And he's like, "I'm gonna do it." All the lawsuits keep coming in. He's just like, honey, I gotta do it. Do you know how many times people probably told him in his close circle, like, you might want to rethink this and not do this? But, that's the thing, is like, he's a very special person. And I do think that his personality has changed in many ways, that he's not going to be, it's obvious. No one is the same person they were for 4 years. You don't have to be the same person you were 10 minutes ago. And so I just really hope that, like, he's way more dynamic this time. And he, instead of like taking in so much communication, he becomes the censor by just writing statements and not even taking questions. Just let all these people burn and just make statements and make executive actions and just push shit downhill. No more questions uphill. It gets pushed downhill, and all these journalists have to shut the fuck up.
The same thing too is, like, you look at the fucking questions that the media gave Trump, right? And then you look at the questions they gave Biden. They're like, "So what's your favorite ice cream flavor?"
Yeah.
And like, they gave him these softball questions, and like, anytime Trump was up there, they try to destroy him every fucking time. And during Hope's 19, they wanted to see him fail. If they could see him fail, they were happy. And like, another thing that pisses people off, the lefticals on this app, Edmund, be like, "You sound so vaccinated. Don't you have to get another booster?" They get so pissed.
People. I mean, honestly, there's a huge catharsis in the fact that Trump got elected on this app, because if they were validated.
Edmund, do you ever go to Lisa's 420 lounge? Every day, her, April Floyd, and then they do a room on what they're going to have to do, and they complain about it every day. And I told all them in that room, I was like, dude, I don't know. Like, I don't believe these polling numbers. They never, when he was running against Hillary, they said he was never going to win. Like, the polls are complete shit. If you still believe them, come on. That's like believing COVID-19 data.
Well, the thing is, have you seen the reports about how like Democrats are still counting votes because they're trying to achieve like a little bit of a majority in a minority? Well, anyways, I mean, just imagine how bad things would be if it went the other way and all these people on this app were validated in their positions if Kamala won, because they would say the culture has shifted. We are in the majority. We are right. Our opinions are what matter. Like, just imagine how toxic, the toxicity would have even expanded. I heard people on this. I heard this woman on this app yesterday going bananas because this guy said that teaching children about trans ideology should be, illegal and not part of the curriculum in junior high.
Yeah.
And this woman was going insane about how her friends finally had the courage to come out as trans, and they're like 40, 50-year-old men. and she can't listen to your lies because it's insulting to her friends who are courageous. Like, you're talking about incredibly incompetent, brainwashed, demented people that to even expose yourself. And again, I record on here, but to just have conversations as if you're really interested in what these people are saying, or that, and again, they can't even have a polite conversation about the topic. They just go insane and they have an emotional meltdown over the conversation. And it's like, you're so toxic and annoying. Like, I understand why people don't want to talk to you, because you don't know how to listen. And all you want to do is ramble and talk over people so you can expound your propaganda. And it's obvious that people are getting high off of it, but also, it's just extremely corrosive, demoralizing, toxic, low IQ.
Well, you were in that room in Chillism yesterday where I was going off on that girl when I was talking about trans.
Oh, that was you. That was you. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I was telling her it's not okay to fucking teach 8-year-olds to chop your dick off and be a gay communist. She's like, I live in California and blah, blah, blah. And I had friends that come out, and I'm like, look, I don't fucking care if you're gay or lesbian, right? Whatever. But fucking transgender, that's fucked up.
Well, listen, there's nothing, I don't think there's anything illegal about a man dressing up as a woman, but to teach children about this, it's not part of a curriculum. It's political, cultural indoctrination.
Yeah, and they're teaching like 8-year-olds to go to drag shows. I'm like, I didn't fucking, the first time Edmund, the first time I found out about transgenders, remember that movie, Crocodile Dundee? Like, when he goes and he tries to find out, they're like, dude, that's a man. He's like, no, it's not. And then he reaches up her skirt, and he's like, oh my God. And then he goes back to like Los Angeles later in the movie, and he reaches up that person's skirt, and he's like, oh, I'm just checking. But that's where I found out about it, but I just didn't think much about it. What did they say, like, the upcoming generation? Like, if you watch, I'm sure you watch Patrick Bet-David, Valuetainment on YouTube, where he was saying, like, the percentage of kids that identify as LGBTQ community, like, this upcoming generation, it's like, what, 25% now?
Yeah. Yeah, it's very high. I'm on the dating apps, and I see a lot of these chicks, they all say they're bisexual. They always have an LGBTQ photo. I'm like, bitch, you're bisexual because you're fat and you can't get dick because you're a fat pig. And so you keep yourself open to women because otherwise, listen, I looked through this chick's Tinder and Hinge one time who was extremely hot, and she was married, and she was involved in swinging and cucking her husband. Her husband was a banker. And the point is, you don't realize it, but hot chicks are talking with other hot chicks in the background, and they're actually, you know, being sexually flirtatious, and many of them do engage in homosexual activity. And so homosexuality amongst women is, you know, rampant. And it's when I found that, anyway, somebody on my YouTube chat is not liking this conversation, and they are writing, "We are not conversing, period. Trump looks absolutely miserable. He doesn't want the job. He wanted the adulation. Trump is miserable. MAGA is miserable. He hated the job in 2016. Now he's miserable. Yins wanted to rail and thought the Dems would care explode, but we don't care. We happy, and all you talk about is misery." So this is, you know, this is them projecting. They think that MAGA is miserable. They think Trump is. It's just the exact opposite. We would have been miserable if Kamala won. Miserable.
Oh God, could you imagine that stupid cunt got in? How badly she would fuck things up.
I'm not even Jewish.
Joe Biden.
I would have moved to Israel if Kamala won. And I'm not even Jewish.
Serious question is between Kamala and Hillary. I thought Hillary was a lot tougher and a lot smarter than Kamala. But I have people on this app that say, no, Kamala is so smart. She is much smarter than Hillary. I thought Hillary was smarter and tougher.
Yeah, Hillary, unfortunately, how do you think Hillary could have defeated Trump? You know, she basically needed...
I don't know.
I think she really needed a nail in the coffin. I don't know. It's a good question. I don't know because linguistically she was losing at every turn. Trump came out like a fucking, like a, you know, 5-time world champion boxer. Like everything he said was just knockout.
But the debates, like remember when Trump debated Kamala and everyone on this app is like, Trump lost the debate. He lost the debate. It doesn't fucking matter, Edmund, because at that point, like 95% of the voters already decided. So it didn't matter if you had a debate. People weren't fucking voting for that wretched cunt. So it really wasn't going to change people. You only had like 5% maybe undecided. And I think what happened too, Edmund, people voted with their wallets. Because you know damn well, inflation is not fucking 2.5% like the Fed said, and it peaked at 9%. It was like, if you go to shadowstats.com, it tells you the real rates of inflation based on the numbers they used to measure in the 1970s, right? And it hit almost 20%. But some stupid bitch on this app's like, oh, they change how they measure numbers all the time.
Yeah.
It's perfectly fine. Biden saved inflation.
Oh, these people are so delusional. I mean, they must think their farts don't stink.
I think so. I think so. That's why I like going in the Lisa 420 lounge, but I always get removed because Goats is on there, and I'll always call him Douglas. And I tell him his PhD. He's from Stanford, stands for one thing: poor, helpless, and desperate. And because that guy's a fucking Marxist too, but I actually can't blame him because he isn't a dumb guy. But his thing is, he's an academic. He just hides behind a piece of paper, right? He never went out in the real world and got a job or anything. He doesn't know how things work. So he just believes in the Marxist indoctrination camps.
This is a clip of Thugger Biden screaming, "I'm not gay."
So in Goat's defense, Judge, Goat says that he wears a variety of pants made by this company called AG, Adriano Goldschmidt. So that stuff can be stylish, but still, can you imagine as much shit Goat talks on this app to own only one pair of denim? They got a wear denim. I got a whole denim shirt on. What the fuck? No, I don't talk about shirts.
So I think the thing is, you know, they're actually not very mature. I mean, they're frivolous.
Nope.
Yeah, they're frivolous.
Well, compulsive liar, Thugga. He, you know what he does? He's a fucking soccer mom that drives a minivan. He's you know that, remember that show Married with Children? He's Jefferson Darcy.
Well, the thing is, the app gives him a lot of weight and credibility because he's a smart talking, biracial or whatever that F word, N word is. But that's the thing is, like, now that the election is over, like, the catharsis is fully set in. Like, these people are irrelevant, insignificant, and they're just petty little talkers, and they're just loquacious minis. I mean, the fact that I've recorded them gives me all the satisfaction in the world.
Well, like I said, he's a compulsive liar. He said, like, his family makes $750,000. He said he was some executive at Pfizer, a pharmaceutical company. He was some, like, Division I athlete. And I asked him if he played football and his position was left out. And then he says that he's, like, 6'4". Women throw themselves at him and he can bench 300 pounds. Like, it's just hilarious.
But he's gay, and so he's definitely a closeted homosexual.
Correct.
And that other guy, Hurricane Otis or whatever. I mean, this is the thing about
Otis.
Yeah, this is the thing about gay men lecturing. I do not accept lecturing from gay men, and also the fact that gay men talk with their gay voices. I mean, I always like to say to gay men, let me hear your real voice, not your projected feminized voice. And then they can immediately go back to their normal voice, and then they go right back to their gay voice. So I'm just saying, like,
I know a guy that, like, one of these bars that my friends and I would go to once in a while, like, the bar manager, he was gay, but he talked like you and I, and you really couldn't tell, but he was gay because, whatever. But he wasn't, like, in your face about it. And he talked normal like you and I.
This is the thing about Milo Yiannopoulos. Like, first I thought he was brilliant. He's a fast-talking conservative speaker criticizing the hypocrisy. But then after a while, I realized, I was like, wait a second. Why should I value anything that this F word is saying? Like, he may be accurate, but what is the point of even listening to him? Because he's just spouting common sense. So, I do not take, and I'm not a bigot or, homophobic. I just don't see any value in listening to gay men lecture me. Like, what's that one YouTube guy? He's got a big podcast. He's a very conservative, homosexual, log cabin Republican. But this is the point, is that there is a propaganda within LGBTQ. And this is the crazy thing is, Q is supposed to mean queer, but just go on Meta and type in LGBTQP. Put a P at the end of it, and you'll shit yourself, and you'll realize that there is a connection between pederasty and homosexuality in the LGBTQP movement. So there is there is an illegal, very dangerous, sycophant abuse. You cannot be pro LGBTQ because there is a sickness within it, which is a violation of the law. And unfortunately, our culture has degraded so much with LGBTQ that we are so debigotized that I honestly think, and I've always thought this, that we have to bring up the LGBTQ and homosexuality consistently because there's a pederastic component to it. And it's illegal, and they're not safe to be around because they, have sexual tendencies which could basically pervert, the law or cause harm to you or your family.
So, Edmund, I had to do this corporate training once on gender pronouns, and like one of our fucking VPs or something like that put like she, her in her email greeting, and people like they were going around saying we need to put that. I was like, I put my foot down. I'm like, fuck no. Like, what are you doing with this shit? Like, seriously?
She's trying to frame. She's competitively framing. That's what it really is all about.
But you know what, though, Edmund? I've noticed, too, like, a lot of, like, these women in the workforce that are, like, the corporate VPs, I'm a boss bitch. Like, we hired this one, like, new VP or top person, and, like, they're all divorced. Or the ones that are married, I can tell you, I can guarantee you their husband are fucking someone else on the side. because like they travel like crazy, they work long hours. Like there's no way that they're in happy relationships.
Yeah.
Because of this toxic feminine.
Yeah, toxic feminine. Yeah, it's all over the board, and really, there are a lot of good women out there, and that you can readily detect them. You know, after a few interactions, that they're not toxic, abusive people. That they're in happy, successful marriages. They're not out to, they're out to like just be authentic and help. There are good women. It's very rare though.
She was a boss bitch, Edmund. She was a boss bitch. Like, look at like 95% of the plumbers, electricians, framers, carpenters, steel workers. It's like not all men, but it's like, this bitch, I can do that. I love it when Sig goes off on these women on the app. He's just like, sir.
Yeah, his rooms are great for that one reason. And there's other people that have those types of rooms where they got boss bitches come in. Technically, I think every room follows the following like mathematical equation, where Group A brings in one member from Group C. They utilize that, Group C or Group B person like a cat uses a ball. They don't want to kick them out. They don't want them to go. They don't want them to leave, but they need them to create the contrast. And, there's it's another category, which is boss bitch versus alpha male. And the alpha male, eventually shuts them down. But this is also Sig's problem, is that imagine if he could actually conduct himself without becoming explosive and yelling, but just controlled the communication where you put him in the goo. Like, that's the thing about this app. People are lazy moderators and they want to let people run. I don't know. I'm just, to me, I think every room should be like a college classroom where the teacher presents, something from the curriculum. You study it, you discuss it, and then you close the room, you go to your next classroom. So I don't know, that's the problem with this app, is that people are just so neurally networked and dopamine fixed. I don't know, this app is just, it's retarded. It's just so stupid, but it is such a great diagnostic tool in many ways to find out how psychotic somebody is, how neurotic somebody is, how easily agitated somebody is, and and just get a general understanding of how people interact with other people in the real world, because the way that you talk to people here is 100% the way you talk to people in the real world. There's no difference. You're not going to like be personality A here and personality B in the real world. Like, the way that Uncle Steve talks to people here is the way that Uncle Steve talks to people in the real world. And that's why his ass is divorced. And his kids probably hate him because, there is a way about letting people just be who they are, and understanding that you are your own worst enemy, that you yelling and getting angry is not helpful. It hurts you.
What's his face? That Aram guy on here, that fucking Marxist. That guy he's dumb, Edmund. That guy is fucking dumb.
Yeah, but when you realize that it's a lot of F words and N words on this app, you'll realize you're not at, some group think tank of like the brightest people that accomplished a lot of stuff in life. You're talking to very stupid people on this app, very low accomplished.
Yeah.
There's some high accomplished, but regardless, a lot of the high accomplished are still retarded. I was in the Bitcoin room. One guy has some of them have actually been to, anyways, some people are really well connected to extremely wealthy people. That's one of my criticisms of Elon Musk, is why doesn't Elon Musk just sit back and stop? Like, why? That's it. He doesn't know how. Some people can get rich, but they don't know how to live in style, in luxury, in repose. And then you just rule your empire through bureaucracy. You don't need to work anymore. Right. He's retarded. He lives a minimalistic lifestyle. He comes on X and cooks a fucking steak dinner by himself. Where's his children? Where's his wives? Nobody wants to deal with him.
Look at Bezos. He built that big empire and retired from Amazon at 58. He's like, fuck it.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Bye-bye.
That's what you do.
Yeah.
Like,
he knows how to, Bezos knows how to live. His yachts, he knows how to live. That guy really knows how to live well.
But yeah, it is funny though, like listening to like the people in Debate the News or the Millionaire Marathon. Some of the people in there crack me up. But to your point, some of them are well connected, but it was funny when the election night, I'm sure you were on the app when Jonathan Bing was there calling the election. He's like, Trump is going to win. He isn't going to win. He's not going to win. He's going to lose all these states. And then all of a sudden, when they got to like the number, he's like, holy shit.
I tried to capture it. Yeah.
He was the one. Oh, the whole time. Oh my God.
I have him on recording talking about how he was accused of rape at some party with Daphne. And he's like, thank God Daphne was there because she made a totally ridiculous accusation against me. Thank God Daphne was there. And so, yeah, he basically sexually assaulted this woman, and Daphne covered for him and said that he didn't sexually. So I would go into the rooms. I would go into his room and just play him admitting that he sexually assaulted this woman who filed a lawsuit against him. That's when you realize you've said too much, and that like sometimes admitting to crimes on social media audio apps, even though it may be cathartic and therapeutic, you probably shouldn't admit to committing crimes on a social audio chat app where hundreds of people are probably listening and possibly recording.
Oh yeah, like I said, like I would laugh my ass off when they'd have all the big debate the newsrooms, and you would come on stage and you would just troll them, and they'd be like, "Oh, who's that the guy? Who's that the guy? We got to troll.
Moderators, come on! I give you the fucking badge. Will you?
I remember one time they modded me in there, and I wanted to get their trust because one time when it got really heated, I was just going to purposely boom the room just to piss them off.
I've said things where I've heard Grant Cardone say, I agree with that guy. At first, I hated Grant Cardone because I just viewed him as like an ebook university, publisher. But like now he's really grown on me because he's not part of the woke bullshit. Yeah.
No, he has grown on me too. It's very, very funny. When I called out Miki, like this financial thing, I said PTR your tax return, because here's the thing: if they tell you they're like an investment advisor, whatever, a financial guru, what you have them do is you can find out if they're the real deal. Have them PTR their tax return. Don't look at what they make, but look at how they make their money. So if they earn like, let's say $300,000 a year, and 295 of it is from their like W-2 job or commission, right? And like $5,000 is through like some investment income, they don't practice what they preach, and they're not the real deal, because it should be the opposite. They should be earning more off their own investments. And I called her out on that, and she wouldn't do that.
I was going hardcore at Nelson Apega, Cindy Stumpo, Jonathan Bing. Every time those Million Man Marathon, I was really trying to roast them real good.
Can you do the Cindy impression?
Jonathan, I'm a developer. I have 300 people working under me at any given moment. I've been doing this for 35 years. I don't need to explain to you shit. I'm a self-made millionaire, and I have taken this little Schwartz, Nelson Apega, under my wing, and I taught this little baby boy all my secrets. And Grant is another example.
Like, these people are, I see, this is the thing is that if you're a really naive person, like you could actually go along with it and say, maybe I should keep listening because maybe I can learn something from these people. But then at the end of it, you get pushed to a landing page to purchase their $349 introductory educational. Yeah. So you're like, you know, and they actually do, you know, generate revenue. And this is all these, you know, it's the P.T. Barnum thing. You know, give me $100,000 and I'll tell you the secret to make infinite money. Oh, congratulations. There's a sucker born every minute. That's the secret to success. That is the oldest running Ponzi scheme. Send me 5. I'll show you how to make 100. It's just a scam.
I do think it's funny. The impressions when you do it of some of these people just crack me the fuck up. They really do. when they start going off. Who was another one that was really funny? They hang out in chillism. Concrete. Concrete's hilarious.
He actually is very funny. Yeah. Yeah.
He is so stupid, Edmund. He is so stupid. You booty clapping. You booty clapping. Oh, shut your bitch ass. You just booty clapping here. You just booty clapping.
Yeah, he's come in my rooms. He's like, "Yo, man, like, why are you filming this? Like, what the he really wants to go into these like lengthy conversations, and then I just rip on him and give him no, you know, points, no verification, no validation. And he just rage quits the room, goes back to chillism. And it's really funny when he's pontificating because he has a Bluetooth in and he goes word to word to word very slowly. So you could tell, like, anyways, isn't this app just an amazing example of like the ego or consciousness in general, meaning that like, it's like raw essence just projecting all the time of projection. Right. Sometimes it's obviously apparent.
But you know who's not on the app anymore, Jacques? I called him out. I call him a Sicilian Arab fuck with a fake accent. And he stopped coming on here. This is fraud of the third. I am Jacques. Zionism is different than Judaism.
He was always very paranoid of being recorded by me.
You're Edmund. You're a better man. Get in the kitchen. This is women talking, and you can tell like no woman ever paid attention to him in his life. No woman pays attention to him. But that one was funny. What else was another funny room that was always messy? 64th and Nig cells when they would fight with the Somalis. Those were hilarious. The ones like the Muslims, like I said, when you troll them.
There's this woman, and some of the people on this app have really researched the Quran and Islamic history, and they really know all the most intense gaslighting statements with regards to all the fucked up, you know, surahs and everything. Those rooms are really funny because you know who Rich is, Oilfield Rich?
Yep.
He's very good at debating Muslims because he knows the most controversial components of the entire religion and history.
Hey, did you know who made it back on the app, Edmund? Alan Dean. I'm Alan Dean.
Hold on. Let me tell you my opinion. I'm a father. I worked in the music recording industry. I'm a father. I worked in the recording industry for 30 years. I know a little something about this. Somebody in my YouTube says, I think that one of your channels was shut down. Yeah. My major YouTube channel, I had 4,500 videos, 1.5 thousand subscribers. It got shut down. They deleted it.
Oh. Yeah, so Alan finally made it back on the app. Who was another one? Oh, you know who one? I just love her accent, and she's a good person too. I really do like her. Is Shay Stallone or whatever? Shay. She has a real soft, easygoing voice. I like her.
The baby voice? Nice she does person. The baby voice?
Yeah. Hello, I'm Shay here.
Yeah.
Yes, I love her. She's awesome.
Yeah, she's a special person.
Yeah, I like her. And you know who I don't see as much, but I like him a lot too? Mr. Edward Lynn or whatever.
Oh, he's fantastic. I heard him on X a couple weeks ago. I was like, oh my God, I know that voice.
I met him actually in person. I went down to Huntington Beach when I first got on this app in like 2022. I was going on vacation. He's like, yeah, I live out there. I go for a walk every day. I'm like, are you serious? I'll meet you one morning before I go, hang out with my friend for the day.
Mm-hmm.
And I met him for like a little bit, half hour. We walked up the one there on Pacific Coast Highway for a little bit. Super good guy.
Yeah.
I really like him. Really great guy.
That's the funniest thing about African Americans is there are some really well-educated spiritual African Americans who are not woke. And they throw the biggest wrench in the conversation when you find out that is like a Bible thumping black who is not going to put up with your bullshit, and they really know the information. Like that is when shit gets awesome.
And you know what? He does charity work, and he told me about a charity that does, and I gave some money to it. Like it's like $50 or something. I was like, yeah, I'll go donate some money. I think it's a good cause. I've met Sig on the app. Sig lives right by me, and same thing with KP. And those are cool dudes too. Yeah. Really fucking cool dudes.
KP is very funny.
Yeah,
the liquor store.
Like, people don't
come on into the liquor store.
But yeah, it is funny though. Like Mr. Edward, how he's like way different than the rest of them on the app, and they're like, wait, you're black and you vote Republican and you have strong morals and values? That's not allowed.
Yeah, it's great because he could talk to Otis, Hurricane or whatever, and it would just drive him crazy because he's the antithesis of what Otis is. I mean, anyways, these people are just so superficial. They're very narcissistic. They're pseudo intellectuals and they're propagandists. They know they're full of shit. And the thing is, they lost. They have not been validated, and it's just wonderful because it's every day is a revalidation of the fact that they were wrong. And I've recorded them for many years building up this zit moment. And finally, the zit has popped. And it turns out they're the pus. They're the pus.
I want to see the one, though, where Jonathan Bing, I'd love to hear that one where he kept saying that Trump will not win. Trump will not win. And I try to tell people and debate the news, like, how bad the economy is. Like, seriously, I mean, we've had record people take money from 401ks or IRAs out of hardship withdrawals, record credit card debt, and Miki and them and all these idiots, the Mikis, the Jonathan Bings, the Aram says it didn't mean anything. Trump's not going to win. I'm like, no, I'm telling you, the economy is not good. The fucking Federal Reserve lies about numbers. They lie about inflation numbers. They lie about unemployment numbers. And I wish I had that recording. I'm like, yeah, I told you. Or the Thugga thing when he told me that Trump was going to lose every single swing state.
Yeah, layoffs.
And he won.
Layoffs are not in the consciousness of a lot of these people, but if you look at the layoffs at big tech, Google, Facebook, Microsoft, and 10 others, like it's massive. You're talking about maybe 1 million people.
Edmund, I'm in Metro Detroit, so our biggest industry is automotive.
Yeah.
And I work in the automotive industry. People don't buy cars. We're fucked in Michigan. Like in 2009, when that bad recession hit, we had all these foreclosures. And all of us, even my brother works in automotive. He was telling me they're cutting back on expenses. They're conserving cash big time right now because to your point, there's a lot of uncertainty now. A lot of uncertainty. And
the thing is, Kamala would have been better for the economy because she would have let debt expand, and everyone would keep living the illusion that debt doesn't have repercussions and that it's not successive. Anyways, yeah. Do you know how many parking lots are full of newly minted manufactured cars that will never get sold? I could. Within walking distance, I can show you countless numbers of Jeeps just sitting on the lot that will never get sold because they're so expensive.
Edmund, they're like sitting. I was at a presentation at work, and I was like one of them. I think it was Chrysler or Stellantis now. They're sitting on like 120 days of inventory. Even the Japanese are sitting on like 50, 60 days. And like, you know, the Japanese style, they don't sit on a lot of inventory, right? It's just their just in time, all that shit. They're like, that's just their culture. They just don't sit on a lot of inventory. And to your point, when they're sitting on this much, that doesn't mean things are booming. That means you have problems. And like, I always said that on Debate the News. And, they would always fucking move me down to the goo and say I'm full of shit, but I'm like, yeah, I wonder what they're saying now.
Well, listen, Jay Breska, you know, masculinity mindset, masculinity match, and Jay, aka the former pimp.
Yep.
You know, I have him on recording saying, I had to vote for Kamala. I had to think about my granddaughters. And then after Trump wins, he goes, "It's a new day in America. I am so glad that Trump won." It's like, bitch, and then he's saying, "I say we get rid of the tampons in the bathrooms." It's like, bitch, you voted for Tampon Tim, bitch. How the fuck? See, this is just the nature of human beings.
That's what hurt Kamala. Edmund, I'm telling you, that's what hurt Kamala. Tim Walz was such a fucking dive. Like, I thought Palin was an idiot. Like, I'll admit Palin was an idiot.
Yeah.
And Kamala was an idiot for a VP, but Tampon Tim was much worse. Much worse.
It was the worst decision ever. But see, he was part of the LGBTQ cult, and he destroyed Minnesota. Everybody in Minnesota hates his guts.
Dude, yeah, oh hell yeah. He fucked that state up.
He's a pedophile on top of it all. And this is the whole thing, is it's all tied in with Diddy. there is a subversive network of, you know, Diddy is definitely a Black Epstein, and Tim Walz, with all of his bullshit with his China trips and bringing these young boys to China on 30 fucking trips. He's a pedo, dude. He's got sugar in the tank. He is a pedo.
But no, hey, good talk with you. I gotta drop off because I gotta run to the stores and do some shopping. But good catching up with you. All right, bye.
Okay, Joy, I'll talk to you soon.
It is a lot. Anyway, no, like the shekels would only make sense if I would, like, I don't know, for some reason thinking like Israel, that's what I need to do.
The only currency I have is shekel. But not a lot.
You have
300. Well, I have like in the house, and like maybe a few $100s of cash, just because, you know, of U.S. dollars, because I live here. But I don't like save money, and currency is a terrible investment. But I have a few hundred, like 350 shekel, because when I go back, I just want to have cash with me when I get there to the airport. Not a lot of shit. There's no point in keeping a lot.
It's not for investment purposes, you know, having cash.
Right. That's why I only have shekels. The only country I plan on visiting. I don't know exactly why.
Okay, Daniel. We got your phone.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Trying to buy a new mobile contract.
You said you already had a good deal.
No, but a better deal. A better, like for my German now, 50 gigabyte per month for $9.99.
And no minutes.
Flat SMS, flat phones, flat roaming, and monthly cancellation.
Why don't you just use internet telephone? Shit, just use Clubhouse.
Yeah, but I need internet.
Yeah, not
when I go
Wi-Fi,
outside.
data.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm not always home.
Well, you just stay home all the time and use Wi-Fi.
Exactly.
Daniel, how much would that cost you, theoretically speaking, if you switch over to like eSIM, like an app?
That's a good question. I'm not sure my phone. I need to buy a new phone for this.
I'd like to address the title of the room.
Go ahead.
Wait, what is the title of the room?
No. Oh.
So
that thing, yeah.
I think, like, you know, regardless of the names of the participants in the conflict, you know, you could basically do like a mathematical equation or some type of a psychological analysis where it would be universal, globally, that there has to be some type of underlying psychological principles which would be universal, theoretically speaking. And when you use this app, if you were to use this app as a diagnostic tool, I think you would see that it's like it takes two to tango. That there's also like a neurotransmitter, drug feedback loop happening with pro-pally people. And
this is too many words. I'm getting confused.
Well, this is the problem with what they do is it's a words game. And, the point is they never talk about anything important in terms of personal improvement, personal responsibility, being immature, being irascible. What I'm just saying is that people are not academic, they're not collegiate, and they're mostly propagandists, and they view their propaganda as being some type of a financial instrument for future security, meaning they think that they're creating content, and that being a resistor or a truth teller, it's like a moral virtue signaling process of self-validation, but they spend no time actually researching who they are or their real self-identity, because they're basically atheists or they are perverted Muslims. There's just so many ways to look at it, but I'm just saying if you could create some type of a construct where it's not what's wrong with Palestinian supporters, it's wrong. What is wrong with anyone that is a supporter, I guess you could say. I mean, I'm just saying there has to be a universal diagnostic where you could, transcend all of the conflict throughout the world. I mean, it's just, anyways, I think I've expressed it enough.
No, Avanti. I'm kidding. Interesting angle, Joey. Rob, you want to say something? Is that why you're waving?
I want to ask Linda a question just for 10 seconds. I was blocked from this room before earlier, and now I came in and Linda came in after me. So I just want to ask Linda if there's a possibility that she is blocking me or not.
I don't block anybody. But by the way, Daniel, so as I promised, I went to see that video. It wasn't their funniest, but I did watch it.
It's not the funniest, but the latest.
Yeah.
Yochanan, why did you unfriend me?
I unfriended many people. I have a limit of how many people I can follow. They don't let me follow many people on the app. But what I do is that I follow houses. So if you have a house, I follow your house. You know what I mean? Do you have any?
Wait, I have a question. How do you unfriend someone?
No, unfriend means that. So when you do add someone, you do add or add. But I do follow houses instead of people. So if you have a house, I follow your house. Like
it sounds so funny coming from a Jew.
What is so funny?
No, it's just a joke. You know what they say? Oh, you came and took our homes.
I don't get the joke. So please explain.
Okay,
I don't want to be missed of the.
Okay, so a lot of pro-Palis, they say that the Palestinians invited the Jews into the homes and they were kicked out of the homes.
Oh, now I get it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's a bad joke. Oh, it's a good one? Okay, thank you. Anyway, does anyone want to address what Joy was saying?
I think he was very succinct.
Good what?
Everything he said, he was on point.
I think there was one thing I wanted to ask him about, but I can't remember now.
I think the one thing you will not hear out of pro-Pali people is the concept of love and joy, or eternal love and joy, or infinity. I mean, there's just so many things they don't talk about, which are so important, which is really why they're doing what they're doing. Because, if you read the book Tanya by the Alter Rebbe, and Meyer, I think, has heard me read it a few times, it really emphasizes kindness and love. And you do not hear that from them. They're very, very angry people, easily agitated, uncompromising, unwilling to listen a lot of times. So they just don't practice what they supposedly preach. They're hypocrites. I think they're liars and frauds and propagandists. That's what I think about them.
But you need to remember that they're the religion of peace.
Well, if that was true, then they would use source examples from the religion, because I do understand that they think they're actually in the right, and that their religion is the religion of peace and harmony and joy, and all these other religions are the ones causing the conflicts. That's their perspective. But the truth is, if that was true, put it in the chat. Let's see the links, or cite the material, or at least be happy and joyful.
That was the point.
Yeah, but you can't tell them that. They'll kill you.
Off with your head, exactly.
Well, it's like going to meet with a team of psychiatrists to help you get to the root of your mental health problems because you're very depressed and unhappy. You look around at all the psychiatrists and no one is smiling and they're all depressed and unhappy.
So what are we supposed to do? How do we tackle this?
Well, I think that even communicating with them actually gives them, fuel for their fire. So one way to deal with them is to create vacuum situations for them where you don't feed into the communication, because the communication is what's giving them purpose. If they have no corollary or contrary to their position, they do not have the fuel, and it creates a vacuum. So I think just communicating mindlessly by just being a clown, like hello, just making them upset is the best debate tactic, because trying to argue about historical accuracy is totally, it's just a never ending circle. So, if you want to be a great debater, I think in many ways it's don't have the debate, just cause them emotional problems. And that is the best way to deal with the situation in online communication warfare.
Right, but Daniel's take is very different. He debates with them because he says it's more for the people who are listening. You may or may not be curious, may or may not be on the fence. And there is something to that, although
Yeah, I agree on that one. It's not so much to convince the
First part of your life, you learn. Second part of
Please don't. Please don't scroll. Please don't.
But with that being said, I find it really,
whatever that
was very interesting how they came to having these debates on Oxford Union, right? They did one last night called, I think this was an apartheid state. It's like conducting a genocide. And obviously they gathered like a pro-Israeli team, pro-Pali team, with both Jews and Arabs in it. And one of the pro-Israelis, being an Arab Israeli, was kicked out in Yen because he felt like the Muslim hostages were getting degraded. And I have never seen, I mean, they get quite heated sometimes, these debates, right? But I have never seen someone getting kicked out. And the thing is, it hasn't been published on YouTube yet. I'm really looking forward to seeing whether the debate will be published. But I think it goes to show how,
How long was the debate?
I mean, usually it lasts like, I don't know, I can imagine with this one, probably like an hour, 2 hours. I don't know.
Oh,
usually they're not like, yeah. I mean, Ben Shapiro did like a really good one initially after October 7th, where he was really good, really good. But I think there was something to it, like, you know, he stated it, and I think the pro-Israeli side stated it last night as well. Oxford has become Hamas territory. Like 90% of like the students, they support Hamas. It's just so. It's really like staining the image of Oxford, right? Like Oxford, Cambridge, like these universities, really prestigious, right? Like if you graduate from the university like that too.
Yeah, but who's going on to Harvard, Columbia, UCLA, same.
Yeah, like 10 years from now, if I'm interviewing someone, or like, where did you graduate from? And they mention one of these universities, I'll be like, nope, fuck you, anti-Semite.
Well, you can't tarnish all of them with the same brush.
Of course not. Of course not.
But you had when this started at Harvard and so on, you had big companies, presidents, vice presidents saying, "We saw you. We have your need. Don't ever come to us looking for a job." So
yeah,
individuals, not because of the university they attended.
Yeah, of course. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that debate. Wow, I've been waiting the entire day. I don't know whether it'll be uploaded today, but
Do me a favor, when you find it, shoot me a WhatsApp where it is. I don't know if I can sit through a full 2 hours of it, but I'd like to check out.
I hope it won't be more than like 45 minutes. So you should not too long.
Oh, I mean somebody edited all. Yeah.
Usually they aren't edited, but the thing is, it's such a huge topic. Like so there's like the pro-Israeli side and the pro-Pali, and each side has like 5 members, and usually it's just like a 1-on-1 or like 2-and-2. So that's why I was just assuming it might be a little bit longer this time. The basketball team. Yeah, I will send you the link whenever it gets published.
Please don't scroll. I'm just trying to.
No, you don't send me a link. Just send me where I can find it. Because opening link.
Please don't scroll. I'm just trying to become a big content creator one day, but I have no supporter.
Like you with your 90 days nonsense.
I never had one beer in my whole life. If I bought a 6-pack, I drank 6 beers. Yeah. If I bought a nickel bag of weed, I smoked a nickel bag of weed.
By the way, I'm not a Trump supporter in any way.
Go.
And Paul McCartney, if you are listening, Adrian from Brooklyn loves you with all her
Yeah,
heart.
we lost all our listeners.
Adrian.
My boss, Joey the Dubs Ayupa, is as feisty as they come. Ayupa, who friends say box professionally under the nom de guerre Joey brand, can still toss a wicked punch. In this case, he also tried to goad our cameraman into combat.
An Oriental Orthodox Christian. He believes in free everything.
Kept his cool. My boss, Joey the... Yeah.
Please,
I cannot keep a thought if you guys are
Hello,
talking
Nabil. Welcome on
So, hang on 1
stage.
second.
I see one of your freedom fighting is for the.
So you show up in Paris, you
go. What can you explain? I see the flag of Palestine. Can you explain what you mean by free Palestine?
What do I mean by it? There is societal war right now.
I'm not a car girl. What? Nope, no.
The government that wants to basically pick out those people and the terrorists
What's freedom? No, I was asking, I know what's happening, and I'm asking, what do you mean free Palestine? Free from who? Free in what way? What kind of freedom are you looking for?
For them to actually establish a government.
What's going on?
Hundreds and thousands of years, but they have But they have a government.
Most of you don't realize most of the Palestinians there are just indigenous as Muslims
I got you.
So you're saying,
Wait. One point. I just want to.
I got your DNA in the car.
it started with the freedom of government, and I wanted to understand also.
I got Nico Jenkins. You know, really, I got Nico Jenkins.
They had elections. Yeah, no, they established a government already.
Mickey.
I don't know if you know. They had a democratic elections in 2005 or
Like
6.
when Mexico's
They
cartel.
have a president, and they have a government, they have ministries, they have like a seat in the UN. So what else are they missing for this government?
I don't know, get rid of Islam and something like that. Not exactly like they have much of a choice, more so to reform it.
It was a democratic elections. So you're saying free?
Crying out
You're
loud.
saying
They barely let you do realize there are people in Gaza who have moved to the West Bank because of the issues they've had with Hamas in Gaza. Like there are people who have to leave there.
Yeah, I mean, they're not satisfied with the elections, but they did have a free elections back then. They didn't have a free election since. So basically, you are calling for the people that are residing in Gaza and in Judea and Samaria to have a re-election for the government. This is what you mean by free Palestine? Free, like new election?
Not just that, I also have issues with how Israel has been dealing with the Palestinians as well. I mean, if Israel was only going after Hamas, there wouldn't be as much of an issue I'd have with them. But they also got civilians there as well.
What issue do you have? What do you mean going after civilians? What do you mean?
Civilians are usually targeted in this war. I mean, there are literally videos of IDF soldiers even going after children and women.
Can you show me one video? I'm very informed, and I see a lot of things coming in from both sides, mostly from Gaza. I have yet to see, even though I asked and you say that you saw, can you share with me one video where you see, 1 second, where you see an IDF soldier shooting a civilian? But I want to see it in my eyes. I don't want you to tell me what I'm seeing. I want to see.
I said they target civilians. I didn't say they shot.
Target with what? With what? With pies?
Sometimes they beat them and like that.
I want to see. No, you say targeting meaning that they are the target, and I want to see.
Yeah.
And so, can you show me a video?
Churches that have been destroyed by Israel, churches that have stood there for a long time.
A church is not a person. You said civilians.
Yeah, well,
a church.
There's people in those churches. What would happen? What do you think would happen when you destroy a church? There's people inside of it. You would end up killing those people.
Hold on. You saw a video that you saw with your two eyes. An IDF soldier targeting a civilian.
Beaten by a child being beaten by two IDF soldiers.
In Gaza.
Yeah, this was about a year ago.
And what's the context?
A year ago. Show me. Can you show us?
Sure, I'll get the video for you.
And I just want to say that this is not really what people mean when they say target. We're talking about the war is against Hamas, and you said now here on stage that no, they're actually targeting meaning when you use the word target, you mean that this is the aim, okay? Not that civilians are hurt all the way. When you
I see the little double face, search contacts, invite friends, send What's your name on here?
This is comical.
Huey the Goat.
Say it again, Huey.
Huey the Goat. Just like how it is in my profile.
Yo, don't let him talk to you like that, Lion. Talk back with attitude.
Let's take away I'm sorry, brother, your mic is hot. Let's take away single motherhood because it takes two people to make a child, right? And let's just look at it.
Right with that. So you're saying that women and children aren't obviously innocent, like that are in a church?
First of all, okay, I will answer. First of all, no, women and children are not obviously innocent. And I will also say that men are not obviously militants, okay? A woman can hold a gun, and a child, which is 17-year-old, can be a fighter. And also a man can also be innocent. So I think that your perception that all men are guilty and all women and children are innocent.
Say all men are guilty.
You said that obviously. No, you said obviously women and children are.
How do you not know this? What do you think? Time out. In a war, when somebody says that they attacked a place full of unarmed men, women, and children, does that mean that they're saying not a single man was armed or like that? For example, when people talk about the Seyfo during World War I, when they say the Kurds attacked Assyrians when they were unarmed men, women and children, does that mean that there were no children capable of fighting or women capable of fighting, or there was not a single person that had a weapon? No, it means the majority of people there are not able to fight, are people who are innocent. That's the point of it. And also, what church has weapons inside it?
Okay, I will answer. I will answer. First of all, you said
Wait, I have one
obviously.
question. Before you answer, I have one question. How many churches are in Gaza?
No, I don't want to go. Hold on. No.
I want to
Yeah, but it goes somewhere else. I'm sorry. You said that obviously women. Yeah, but you said obviously women and children are innocent, and I just wanted to address that point. I'm thinking that no, the fact that someone is female or under the age of 18 doesn't mean they're innocent. Second of all, the fact that you say a church and you say that this is a house of prayer, you are correct. A church was built and meant to be a house of prayer and should be protected. Same goes for hospitals and schools. They should be a protected site. I 110% agree with you. But what happens when they are used for, as an example, okay, not talking about Gaza, let's talk about like what you call international law. If a hospital is used for military purposes, is it still considered a hospital or is it a legitimate target? According to international law, not according to this conflict. In general.
For a military purpose?
Yes.
Yeah, it would be considered a military site, so you'd have to.
Okay, great. So when you say a church, how do you know that the people inside were innocent civilians that came to pray? By the way, there are like, I think 1,000 maybe Christians left in Gaza. What makes you be so sure that this church was A, used for prayer, B, was full when it was attacked?
For one, I believe one of the churches was used, people were using it as like to hide during the fighting and like that. It wasn't used for like to hold weapons, if I remember correctly.
It doesn't matter. If you are hiding there also and you're a militant and you are going from there to operations.
So it was civilians who were hiding there.
I'm asking, great, perfect. I'm asking, how do you know A, that there were civilians, B, that they were even inside when the church was targeted, because the IDF announces every time they're gonna bomb someplace. So I'm asking, why do you say, or why are you so sure and confident that A, it was used for a church and there were like innocent civilians inside? Based on what?
And you're assuming that it was not just civilians in there. You're assuming
You are the one.
there were military there.
You made the claim that
But you're making an assumption here as well. You're assuming that they were most likely hiding weapons and militants
No,
there.
I did
so,
not.
Yeah,
No,
trying to go and do that.
No, I did not say anything like this.
But does that justify? But even if that's the case, does that justify like harming innocent people in there as well?
But I'm asking. But I'm asking the same question. How did you decide?
The issue.
But I'm asking the same question. How did you come up to the conclusion that there were innocent civilians inside this church when it was hit by the IDF? Why what are you basing your claim on?
What am I basing my claim on? The fact that they know who are most of the people that were dead, that were in the church when it happened. There are people who talk about their family members that were there, most of them who weren't fighters.
Wait, how many people died inside the church? What are you talking about?
How many people died? I can get to that.
Because as far as I
there
know,
was one girl who accidentally was shot by a sniper. That's it.
and which one? You talking about Hindri Jab?
Look, we're talking about the same church, okay? But he's claiming there's a lot of dead people inside the church. That's not what's happening. So what happened was there was a bombing in what would we call that? We would call that adjacent building to the church. The church wasn't harmed at all. Okay, it was sort of like a storage room. Okay, no one died there. There was a sniper who accidentally shot a girl inside the church, mistaking the girl for what do I know, right? It's not intentionally targeting civilians, and you won't. That story, like I don't know where that's from. That'd be like you entering a church and you see all of dead people in there. No, absolutely.
Are you talking about something from like December of last year?
I don't know when it was exactly. Like, there's only been one incident with a church in Gaza. And that's
No, but he's talking about something that I didn't hear about, bombing of a church while people are inside.
That's what they mean. Like when they say there was a bombing of a church, when they say there's a bombing of a church, it wasn't actually the bombing of a church. It was the bombing of the storage room of the church. It's like an adjacent building.
Yeah, so this is why I'm trying to stick to those points. But then he ran away when he understood that there was no bombing.
Correct. Yeah, exactly.
There was no bombing of no church, and and his entire I get it. Like those people, like his profile. He dedicated his profile for this. I don't know, war against free Palestine, whatever.
Paradox. He was saying free Iran, free Palestine, free Cyprus. I couldn't remember the other ones, but that doesn't make sense.
Why did he run away though?
I don't know. I want to ask him about Cyprus though.
That was a really good dialogue because he normally won't. Like he'll go off, but I feel like he was kind of taking it in and struggling with it. But I think that's good progress, honestly.
You know him?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm here for like a long time. I've argued with him a lot about this, but I think this is better than any conversation I've had with him. So.
But how can he support a free Iran and support whatever he defines as like Palestine and being free? How does that make any sense?
He's a Christian from Syria, and so his thing is he cares about the native people and the Christians. That's literally his thing, and he always says, "Oh, I love Jews. I just think they're like whatever, tyrannical, whatever." But he believes in propaganda, which is like I don't know why he does. I guess like he has family from that region, like Gaza. That's what he claims, but I don't know.
I want to buy him a ticket to Israel so you can see how much Israel protects the Christians and the churches in Israel, like any other country in the Middle East.
Forever.
I think you need like a legal professor, like a lawyer, to explain the basic concepts of law, because I get the feeling that a lot of people are just not educated at all on just the golden rule, eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth kind of a thing, or even the law. Like there's just, I feel like that's the major problem is people do not remember the word law. They don't understand what the concept is, what the history of law is. I mean, that I think is the biggest educational problem with pro-pally people. Sorry, Aura, for interrupting.
I think that the problem is more that emotion trumps over logic. So if I feel something, then it's more valid than if it's actually true or not. And once you get people so enraged with something like the death of the children and women in Gaza, you know, there was like those reports of the women and children and everybody got enraged, and then the UN cut it by half. And I spoke to some people on Clubhouse here and I asked them, okay, how do you feel about this? Then their claim was like, it's enough even that one innocent child dies, which I get it. Once you're so enraged and you need to kind of prove to yourself that you're not an idiot. So yes, you will change your perspective, and now even one single death is a war crime.
Yeah.
Okay, I just looked it up. So that incident with the sniper, okay, apparently 2 girls were killed, but there were more than 600 people inside the church.
And it was not bombed.
And it was not
crushed. I know it's not bombed. This is why, like, they get outraged, and instead of like, oh my God, shit, I was misled, they run away, because it's like a defense mechanism, because you don't want to feel like an idiot. I mean, I get it. All those pro-pallies that have been like consumed with propaganda, it's in order to admit reality, they also need to admit that they have been fooled, and not only them, probably their friends and their families. It's I get why it's so hard to do this step, to believe, I don't know, facts, and like, no, so what do you think, the UN is lying and UNRWA is lying and the UN is lying and the ICC? Yes. Like, just check for yourself.
I think like in this case, specific case, like it didn't even apply logic. Like why would 600 people take refuge in a church if they knew that they would get bombed? Like you take refuge in a church usually when surrounding buildings get bombed, or like your home, or like, you know, that village, whatever. You go to a church, you're thinking, okay, it's a safe haven, it's a church, right? The church is unharmed. Look it up, the church is unharmed.
I think it follows those like conspiracy theories that Israel hates Christians. So it's like they find one little tiny thing that seems to follow that conspiracy or fit the conspiracy. So they'll take it and run with it. Like, see, here's proof that Israel is terrible to Christians.
There's one other philosophical flaw in pro-pallies is that they'll go back to 1946. I mean, yesterday I was in a room and I was just going 1947, 1948, 1949, 1950. That's the problem with historical hypnosis is, and one of the reasons why they can't wrap their heads around the situation and why they are fooled is because they're living off of memories as opposed to the present moment. And, you know, that is just, it's like, did you not hear about in philosophy, there's just this thing called the eternal now. And so what you're really doing is hypnosis propaganda using history, which essentially leaves out a million other variables. And so what you're really doing is dealing with, again, propagandists.
What I've done when there's other native people that are kind of like from the Middle East who have been Arabized and stuff like that, but somehow believe that propaganda, I'll usually ask them why they're supporting their own oppressors' propaganda. And sometimes it'll click, sometimes it won't, but it works. You can use that one. Feel free. It's like, hey, why are you like believing the same propaganda that was, you know, spewed by the people that took over your motherland? You know, to someone who's like a Syriac Christian, they're native to Syria. They're not Arab ethnically. They're Syriac people. But yeah, that one is hard too. They've definitely run away from it, some of them, but it'll work. I've seen some people become pro-Israel after that. So, yeah.
I'm certain he will become pro-Israel after a trip to Israel.
Probably. I think it's the best. It's the best solution for many of those, that they would just like visit the apartheid, ethno-state, genocidal Israel and talk to people, also Arabs in Israel. And by the way, Samson, the sniper is an allegation. It's not.
Yeah, I'm aware.
Yeah,
I'm aware, but I didn't want to have that discussion with him. I just, that's a sniper. Even if it's true, like it was a sniper, like it was an accident. Like you're not intentionally targeting civilians.
No, I mean, even if it was a sniper, which we don't, I doubt if it was, because someone dies, you don't know who shot them. You just assume that it's a sniper, but it still doesn't mean that the church was bombed and with all the innocent civilians coming to pray. And the church
that's another
was
thing.
not.
He said they went there to pray. He didn't even say that they took refuge in a church.
Yeah, they took refuge. It's like, I think, the only Catholic church.
Well, that's the
in
narrative,
Gaza.
right? Like, oh, they're all innocent, they're all praying, and Israel's such a big bully coming in.
Yeah,
just
the hijabi woman.
Praying people,
The hijabi woman inside the church is praying, yeah.
No, I mean, there are Catholics. They're like, I think like 1,000 that ran away there. But I think this is not just their fault. It's like the international media. I mean, when they report like a bombing in a school in the middle of the summer when there is no school, when they talk about the school as a building called school, then people imagine, and they say, IDF bombed the school, 20 died. So what you understand from this is like 20 children in the middle of like math lesson were bombed. They don't say, okay, those 20 were actually men. They were like sleeping there. It wasn't acting as a school. And who are those men?
You let her be. You let her be too because you think she's attractive. You ain't no nigga.
No, he did the same thing. So Samoa doesn't.
In fact, help me out here because I'll be checking out here soon because sometime in the next 48 hours, I think probably in the next 24, I'll be going in with a group of humans, currently known as humans, and
viral map that's getting bigger. Yeah. So the idea is you take that metadata and you have people who own pieces of land on this like metaverse, right? This blockchain metaverse. And then you can overlay other games on top, like this Slither idea or like roguelikes or whatever. And what you do is you can say, hey, wherever you die, if someone owns that piece of land where you die, they also get some residual income. Like they also get some of your sats. So that's another like idea where people might be incentivized to like grab land because there's other games that I built on top that also use the same baseline metadata. Anyways, that's like future looking.
So are they fungible? Like the people, or can some land be worth?
Hey, Rohan, what's the deal with kicking me from your room? You're such a salty little cock.
Well, that's not very nice.
I mean, I was in Amir's room and they were reading your arrest report and legal problems for having sexual relations with a woman. I don't know if any of that is true, but, I just thought it was interesting that they were going into it explicitly in detail as if they're shopping it around. But anyways, yeah, I mean, you busted me in the other room. You kicked me. You're like, I know who it is. Joy. You knew right away, mate. You knew right away, mate. Little payback for it, yeah. Little payback. Get my lick back. Gotta get your lick back.
Energy. If humans had free energy, they would go up and grind up mountains to try to make giant gold necklaces and find diamonds and emeralds and shit like that. Humans have not been proven to be able to handle power. They just do dumbass things with it. I mean, the government's Jeez, don't give it to humans.
And that's the critique. And that's the critique of the positive implications of, oh, with AI, all the bad jobs will go away. The problem goes right back to Karl Marx's assessment of the excess value of labor and how now we have the billionaires and their fascist partners are going to continue to soak all it up. So yes, there'd be plenty for the billionaires to be billionaires and for everyone else to live well, but they won't allow that. Because they're crazy and really just hungry ghosts, they will insist on extracting more and more and more from everyone and everything, and they just can't stop themselves.
100%. So the idea would be if we could cure the hungry ghost insatiable appetite for more, that maybe then we could handle the type of energy that would be needed to get off planet or to create immortality or things like that.
You know who wrote a great scenario for that in fiction is Starhawk. Have you read her book, The Fifth Sacred Thing?
Oh yeah, definitely. And
the way she has the people from Northern California deal with the.
They don't get mods. They don't get mod in the don't mod them up, right? I also think that we shouldn't have too many mods. It's almost like
no, that's what I'm saying, Mondo. I love everyone. No. I love everyone.
You full of shit, Day. You just an N-word atheist, dog. You don't love nobody. Share the mod, dog. Share the mod.
If it wasn't for me or you, Mondo, I don't see this room ever being open.
So I've done a lot of research on this TV, and I'm thinking about.
Probably you are, and you just have to embrace the list.
I want to be at the top of the list.
I want to be at the top of the list.
Yeah, I want to be the first one on the list. Like, okay, we've created a list. Okay, Daniel. Okay, obviously, who else? Like, I want it to be like that.
Yeah, exactly. Daniel and the rest.
It's the most wanted Zionists.
You know, Central, there are like a few pro-parties that once we joke that we have a list, and then since then they're like obsessed with this. Like, am I on the list? Did you put me on the list? Get me on the list.
And it all started, I don't know, I think it was one day
with
I took a screenshot of Diego, or what Diego wrote in the chat, because he always tries to gaslight me or gaslight others, and I'm like, Diego, I got the screenshot of what you wrote in the chat to me. Like, this is what you said. And he's like, oh my God, you're keeping track. And I'm like, yeah, I keep track. And he's like, I'm sure you have a list. And I said, yeah, I got a list. And that's where everything went wrong. Is that then you're talking about the list. And about, yes, because you put us on a list. And it's Randy saying that, and it's Nora saying about the list, and Diego about the list.
Yeah, I love it how we live rent free in their head that they think that they're on some kind of list, and even if they are, that this list means something. So
exactly. But I mean,
the Jewish conference thing is quite good as well. Like, what's the next topic on our next meeting? You know,
the Zionist, the Elders of Zion. We have the Elders of Zion's meeting.
Oh, we are. Well, by the way, I went into that room, Isa.
Uh-huh.
So Roger just said he's going to make a counter list.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was saying.
Oh my God, they're all wackos. A bunch of wackos. All of them.
Oh no! Don't do that. That is too much.
Yes.
I'm gonna change the name of the room to No Lists Allowed.
Can you?
Or maybe I will put, this is the real list, or we're making a list. List.
Like list conference or something that like a council. The list council. Yes. Is outcode in session.
No. Right, like a Zionist conference, like meeting number. I don't know, like right.
I don't know. This is a list council.
613, you mean?
Yeah.
613.
wait, the new council creating the list.
Like it needs to seem legit, you know, like UN organization, kind of like they always have like numbers and things.
What's legit about the UN organization?
No. You know, their resolutions, condemnations on numbers. You know?
Yeah, the list council, you know, that's the renewed council create. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because there
I'm
was
not
already
loving that. I'm not loving that. I'm not loving that. Lisa.
Yeah, but a lot of people will understand because there was already an attempt of creating a council one time back, like a couple of years ago, and people were having a war between houses and between groups of people, and they tried to create a council who should be mass blocked, and everybody thought that it was ridiculous.
Well, it is ridiculous. Do you need a council? Okay.
Or the council.
No, that's fine. So not, no. You can do what you like. It's fine. And they're all really heated. And then people are writing, so where is Jane now? She ran away.
Yeah, I love seeing people having meltdowns, to be honest. I think that's my guilty pleasure. I love it.
You don't sound like you feel guilty about it, though. You sound like proud of it.
Oh, yeah.
That is a guilty pleasure.
That's a guilty pleasure, yeah.
Fair enough.
Guilty pleasure, pal.
It's a pleasure.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I don't do guilt, so.
So you're not Jewish?
If you say so. Well, I didn't have a Brit Milah, if that's what you're implying.
That's right. Any ideas what I can buy on this fucking Black Friday? Because
Amazon?
Yes, I'm like on Amazon and nothing kind of talks to me.
Well, I understand. Well, start with a list. Wait.
Go to Zalando.
No, there's an actual list. So a need or a want. So when you put things on that list, it'll help you narrow it down.
Nothing that Amazon sells.
Okie dokie. So forget about it. So then hold on to your money. I went back to Amazon. I actually went back to Amazon today to check on that iPad I have my eye on.
Oh, iPad.
Yeah. Same price. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I'm just so upset that I only got the 64 gig. I can't believe I did that. Now I'm paying the price.
You got fooled by a Gentile in the what?
No. It was my own that I didn't read the spec or something. I don't know.
Does any of you have those cleaning robots that also wash?
You mean windows or floors? I have one. I have one for. There's one I have
for the floors.
Yes, I do.
So, which one? Which company?
iRobot, I think. So
iRobot.
Here's my opinion. Listen. And you have to buy the special sponges for it and fill up the reservoir with water, this and that. They're not really good for cleaning the floor. After you clean the floor thoroughly, so then it's good to run that over it after you clean it like super thoroughly. But to clean it, you understand what I mean?
Yeah, but what's the point? If I clean it, why do I need to spend another $800?
Correct. I didn't spend $800, but correct. So this is my experience. I have it for like 4 years. So it's only worth something after you clean the floor thoroughly, which means the old-fashioned way.
You should just
But the window one I have is amazing.
Yeah, I had the window one.
It's
also
amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I figured out how to get into the corners and everything. It's actually amazing.
Wait, how does a robot go up?
It has like one suction cup, and then it kind of rotates like 20 degrees, and then it's
no, mine has two.
Yeah, and then it catches the other one, and then releases one, and kind of basically has like two sucking things.
Yeah. No. Okay. No. No.
Why everything is pornographic in your head?
In my head. He knows. Stop. Okay. What it is it comes with buffing. No.
Oh, now you're doing it.
It comes with. No, stop. Let me try to explain to him. It comes with.
Say buffing.
So this device or Windows Samson, it is kind of, it's like a robot. Comes with a remote control, so up, down, or you can set into a pattern. But it comes with, and then I bought extra ones, kind of these buffing sponges that you put on around each circle. It's hard to explain.
Treating epilepsy. And what happens is, because there's a slight difference between both hemispheres, you do these tests where you look at a screen and what appears on the right, which one's the, so language is on the left.
You busted me. You got busted.
Physical world either.
See, the physical world is wiggly. The clouds, mountains, trees, people are all wiggly. And only when human beings get working at things, they build buildings in straight lines and try and make out that